I left Google. Here's why. Hi friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Maddie and I'm a senior software engineer. For those of you who are new here, I post software engineering and career videos and memes on here and on Instagram, so go and follow and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Today, I wanted to sit down and make this video addressing one of the questions I've been asked probably more than 100 times in real life and in Instagram DMs at this point. Why I chose to leave Google. Honestly, my first instinct when asked this question the first dozens of times was, I honestly have no idea. I love my time at Google and I still think it's a wonderful company with super cool perks, impactful work, cutting edge AI, and some of the most smartest and humble people I've ever met. I'm sure you've by now heard of the free breakfast, lunch, dinner, shuttles, micro kitchen snacks, barista coffee, gym, laundry, nap pods, massages, and holiday parties. I personally use the heck out of these perks. People joke that you only stop becoming a new grad at Google once you get tired of the free food. If that's the case, then I apparently am still a new grad. I also literally went to the office every day, even on weekends, because I would go to the gym every day there. I've been to more than 10 other countries on vacation where I literally did not pay for food because I just go eat and hang out at the Google offices. One of the funniest things that happened to me was when I got stuck in an elevator in the Google Argentina office and literally had to call USA Google security to route them to Google Argentina to let me out at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. Besides the perks, I also loved the work that I did there. I started off as a new grad in the health search product area and built appointment scheduling and helpline search features. I stayed for a couple of years before I moved to Google Search Ads, where I worked for the G.com shopping image carousel ads. I'm a full stack software engineer and seeing my features go live to millions of users just felt honestly so surreal. My favorite part about Google isn't the perks or the work or even the salary. It's the people. Everyone I met at Google was so genuinely kind, smart, and just all around really wonderful. I know that the word Googliness might have mixed connotations sometimes, but to me, the people at Google truly exemplified this. I spent some of the happiest moments of my life with other Googlers or at Google. When I started Google, it was during the pandemic, so I felt very isolated and alone before I found my community at Google. I honestly never thought I would leave. For years, I played board games weekly with friends on campus. Special shout out to my favorite board game, Blood on the Clock Tower. Some friends and I would have virtual happy hours where no one would actually drink, but we just sit on a video call on Fridays and chat about love and life and philosophy until midnight. A lot of us have left Google at this point, but I like to say that we took the lessons we learned from the discussions and applied them to our lives beyond Google. In 2022, I ran almost every single day together with some Googler friends in preparation for a half marathon, and I've done countless escape rooms and puzzle hunts with Googler friends, both internal Google ones as well as external ones. A lot of my life was built around Google. I'm a girl who loves routine and I really enjoyed electric scootering to the office every day, going to the gym, doing my work, grabbing dinner with Google friends, and maybe playing board games or hanging out on campus after work. At some point, my old roommate told me, "Hey, Maddie, isn't it a bit concerning that you depend on Google for your food, water, and social life?" I thought about it. She honestly wasn't wrong. At that time though, it was literally a dream and I could not imagine leaving. When I finally left, I honestly felt pretty empty. I don't know if anyone else also feels this, but during my last few weeks at Google, I just felt numb. I cried a lot.
No.
No? Oh, don't cry, are you?
I know it sounds so silly to say. I felt as though I didn't quite know who I was anymore, and even though I was really excited to join my new company, part of me was very scared. Even though I've worked at 6 other internships before, Google was the only company I'd worked at full-time. For more than 4 years, I went to Google almost every single day, hung out with Googlers almost every single day, and it was so weird for me to think of myself as a person without Google. Despite all the reasons I had to stay, I ultimately decided to leave just under 4.5 years at Google and join another company. For the record, I know that this might sound short for some industries, but the average tenure at Google is actually around 1.3 years, and it's around the same or even lower for a lot of other companies as well. The first reason why I left was just because I wanted more opportunities to learn and develop as an engineer. Google uses a lot of custom-built internal tools and technologies. While I do think that this makes it a lot easier for Googlers to develop, and we have dedicated internal tooling teams to help build up this infrastructure, as the years went on, I realized that I was losing touch with more industry standards knowledge stacks and frameworks. I felt more and more that if I didn't try to actively learn and code outside of work, I would get left behind. Google does make it really easy to transfer teams, and many Googlers do switch teams every few years or so. I myself switched from my first team in health to my second team in search ads and learned some new stuff there. But when I wanted to try something new once again, I did some internal reflection and soul searching and realized that I thought it was time for me to leave the company and not switch to yet another team. Yes, switching to another team would have taught me some new frameworks, but it still would have been within the overall Google ecosystem. The second reason why I decided to leave was because I wanted to deliberately push myself completely out of my comfort zone. Honestly, when I was job searching, I didn't really want to leave Google. I knew, however, that if I didn't try to make a serious effort to leave, I probably would stay here forever. That really wouldn't have been a bad thing, to be honest, but I felt like I owed it to myself and my personal development goals to seriously try to leak code, study system design, and apply to many companies. I wanted to see what else was out there. In a way, it felt like graduating college all over again. I'm getting to start all over in a different company, meet a lot of new people, and figure out how to navigate life outside of FAANG. I truly think that real growth happens when you're slightly uncomfortable and when you take risks. And even though I was very happy at Google, I didn't want to think back to this time in the future and have any regrets. A third reason why I left was because I wanted to try a smaller company with a more streamlined development cycle and faster pace. At big tech companies like Google, things move slowly by design. There are layers of processes, review cycles, stakeholder approvals, launch gates, and internal policies that exist to protect the company's reputation, ensure quality, and manage risk at a massive scale. When you're operating at the scale of Google, you can't move fast and break things. Every single product decision can impact millions or even billions of users. I'm honestly an impatient person, and for me, that kind of pace did feel frustrating at times, even though I understood why it was necessary. Even small, trivial changes sometimes took weeks or months to get shipped. Another reason why I left was because some of my friends also left. Obviously, this isn't as good of a reason for leaving as the other ones, but to me, the people that I work with and interact with mean the most to me in a job. I also trust my friends' judgments. You know the saying, if your friends jump off a bridge, would you also jump off? Yes, 100%, I absolutely would. A lot of my friends still work at Google, but quite a few of us have left within the last year or so. What had stopped me from even considering leaving for the longest time was that my social circles were very entrenched within Google. For example, I would meet most of my friends on campus after work every day and grab dinner or play board games. I realized, however, that when my other friends left, I still saw them quite regularly. It wasn't like they were gone from my life. I then realized that if I left, I also wouldn't completely disappear from people's lives. And last but not least, let's talk about compensation. I left after 4 years, which is actually quite common. This is because companies like Google give you an initial stock grant right when you join that vests over 4 years. Even though you do get stock refreshers or extra stock every single year, you usually don't get as much as that initial big grant divided by 4. So after 4 years, your total compensation can drop. I actually think they redid the compensation structure so that it is more front-loaded now to prevent this from happening as significantly. But for me and people who joined in 2020 and before, my initial stock grant vested evenly over the first 4 years. I know that it's not really an employee's market right now, but I was lucky to get a quite significant pay bump when I signed with my new company. Do I still hang out with my Google friends almost every other day? Yes. Do I have any regrets about leaving? No. I'm confident that it was the right thing to do at the right time. And who knows, maybe I'll be back someday in the distant future. For now though, thank you so much to Google for all the wonderful learnings, friends, and memories. Thank you so much for listening to my stream of consciousness. I really do appreciate it if you made it to the end of this video. It honestly means so much. That's all I have for you today, but I'll be back next week with some more software engineering tips and advice. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.